I was born with a special purpose so that my sister could live. I am a rescue sister, and it was for this purpose that my parents decided to have a second child. When my sister became ill at the age of 2, I was already in the world. Ever since I was a little girl, I felt that my parents had no interest in me. This realization came even before I entered high school. I realized that I existed for one purpose only, while my sister was pampered and surrounded with care. I watched her grow up with loving parents while I was deprived of such attention. Upbringing made my sister and I strangers to each other. She was used to always getting what she wanted and being the center of attention, while my needs were ignored until my help was needed, such as blood. If I had something, she wanted it for herself, and my parents supported her in that, leaving no room for my complaints. I'm sure my parents are grateful for the role I played, but I could never believe they loved me. We are both in our 20s, and my sister has tried to build a relationship with me. However, she still wants to dictate her terms. I am expected to defer to her, such as giving her food off my plate. She ignores what I say about our childhood not being perfect. When we discuss it, she mentions my presence in passing, referring to better days. Eventually, I stopped agreeing to her terms and refused to pay for her, which led to a decrease in our meetings. I started receiving messages from her much less, which showed me her true intentions. She was not looking for a sister, but for a man who always fulfilled her wishes. Recently, she came to my home, where I live with friends and my partner, and tried to stay with us. Looking cheeky, she offered to bring food and something to drink, but I told her she needed to look for another place to stay. I suggested she call our parents. She refused to go anywhere else and tried to make friends with my boyfriend and other partners. She knew my friends did not sympathize with her. I made that clear to her. I insisted she come up with another plan. She chided me for being more willing to help her and asked why I never wanted to do anything for her. I objected, expressing fatigue with her constant demands and assumptions that I existed just for the sake of it. I told her that while our parents may have perceived me that way, I am more than that and have never had a say in the matter. If she wanted to talk about injustice, she should reflect on her behavior. Her reaction was explosive and she walked away, later stating that I was misbehaving by blaming her for our parents' actions. This upset me because she did not recognize her role in our conflicts. However, even though my parents raised me this way, it was not her fault that she had no choice as a child. Perhaps my way of expressing frustration was too harsh. What I did was stupid. Edited. Since I left, I have stopped communicating with my parents. At their house, I don't talk to them anymore. I realized that trying to talk is futile. They were never interested in my well-being, my future, or my life. I was subjected to medical procedures and surgeries as a child. Now I'm looking for a therapist. Oh my God, I'm horrified by what you've been through. I am so sorry. My heart aches as I read your words. Please accept my virtual hugs. It is my sincere wish that you have a family of your own, filled with love and happiness. You didn't deserve to be treated like this as a child. The way your parents treated you is truly abnormal. Your sister doesn't seem to realize that their actions were wrong. She needs to recognize her role in this situation. She refuses to accept responsibility for her selfish behavior. Her path to redemption must begin with an apology. She owes you a lot. You are not an idiot for not allowing her into your home. You are creating a safe space for yourself. That's what often happens with golden children. Getting all the attention, they don't think about the feelings of others. I'm truly sorry that your parents saw you only as a spare part and taught your sister to do the same. Get away from them as soon as possible. You've already fulfilled your role for them. They should leave you alone. If your sister continues to violate your boundaries, perhaps you should consider a restraining order. I doubt their behavior will change. You don't owe anyone anything. Next story. Miles and I have known each other since we were 2 years old, as our parents are best friends. Now Miles is not my best friend, but still a good friend. We see each other from time to time and socialize at big holidays because of our parents. We are both just over 20 years old. The problem started because of an old childhood memory. When we were 8, we put on a wedding play on the school stage. I played the bride and Miles was the groom. It was a play with terrible songs and uncoordinated children. Our parents videotaped the whole thing, and now we each have a picture from that play on our family picture walls. Miles is dating Lindy. They met 3 years ago and started dating last year. I don't like Lindy. Every time we meet at a holiday party, she says I'm a typical best friend. One time she even said that I secretly want to sleep with Miles. I don't understand where she gets that idea from. Miles and I have different social circles and schedules. Aside from monthly meetings over meals, we actually rarely see each other. The situation escalated when Lindy saw a picture of our children's wedding play. She started commenting more often and even started messaging me on Instagram, claiming she knew what kind of game I was playing. I tried to talk to Miles about it. He advised me to give her time. I was invited to his birthday party on Saturday. Lindy texted me that she would be watching me. It was their first birthday as a couple, and I didn't want to take up his time. I was tired of the situation and decided to skip the party. When the party started, I quickly texted Miles to apologize for my absence and let him know that my mother would bring him a present. Now he is upset that I missed his birthday. Lindy is mad that I did everything for me, and my parents are upset that I missed the family celebration. You're not an idiot. Miles' friend is clearly insecure and jealous of you. You tried to discuss it with Miles, but he chose not to get involved. Most of her texts are threatening. Naturally, you don't want to be around her. Your parents need to realize that your relationship with Miles doesn't have to be part of family events. The responsibility for maintaining a friendship with Miles should not fall on you if it becomes burdensome under the current circumstances. Although you have been friends for many years, don't feel guilty if you feel that the friendship is not joyful. Miles should show the messages not only to his parents, but also to you so they can see for themselves what's going on instead of you trying to explain the situation yourself. It's not clear why you need to put up with trouble just because you know each other. The fact that you didn't attend the party gave Miles' friend an opportunity to show her aggression even more blatantly. If your parents expect you to attend such events, they should know the truth about the reasons for your absence. Now I want to tell a different story. My fiancé Jamie, a 28-year-old man, has a stepmother named Ellen. Jamie does not have a close relationship with Ellen or his father. So 3 weeks ago, Ellen reached out to me. She came to our house and asked if I could help her throw a surprise party for Jamie at our wedding. Ellen wanted to have a dance just for the two of them. She hoped that Jamie would ask her to dance, honoring her as the mother of the groom. Since more time had passed and she hadn't heard from him about the wedding, Ellen realized that he wasn't going to ask her to dance or do anything special for her. Ellen confessed that she had loved him since he was a baby. To her, becoming his mom was officially a big deal. However, he had never acknowledged her as his only mother since he was 5 years old. Ellen felt that something meaningful for both of them should happen at Jamie's wedding. For context, Jamie's parents divorced when he was only a year old. His father met Ellen when Jamie was 3, and they married when he was 5. Jamie's mom died just 3 months after the wedding. Jamie went to live with his dad and Ellen full-time. I knew Jamie would never agree to dance with Ellen. She recognized this and shared how important it was to her. Ellen shared that she had felt hurt all her life that Jamie had never reciprocated her love. He never showed her love or affection. This hurt her the most because she had always tried to surround him with care and love. Nothing she did seemed good enough. Ellen always felt like she was in his dead mom's shadow. I could see how this upset Ellen, but I turned her down nonetheless. I knew Jamie would be against it, and that was enough for me. Ellen tried to convince me, but to no avail. Then she asked me to at least keep quiet. I neither agreed nor disagreed. I didn't want to confront her, but I told Jamie everything. Jamie wasn't happy, but he didn't say anything at first. Then Ellen asked him directly. He told her no in very clear terms. He also complained to her for trying to go behind his back, trying to force her opinion on him through me. Of course, Ellen took offense that I told Jamie. She accused me of aggravating their relationship. Jamie defended me, saying that I had done nothing wrong and that my support for him hadn't made things worse. Her unwillingness to admit that he would never consider her his mother only made things worse. A few hours after their confrontation, Ellen texted me claiming that I had only made things worse. She called me unreliable and a troublemaker. After I showed Jamie the message, I blocked her. You're not an idiot. Your loyalty is tied to the person you are building a life with. Protecting your partner is a priority. You did what you should have done. Your stepmother's refusal to take responsibility for her actions and her attempt to prioritize her needs through betrayal explains why your fiancé keeps her at a distance. This woman is causing negativity on many levels. I would recommend that you designate a couple people to keep a close eye on her at your wedding. This is so they can distract her or remove her if needed. I would also warn your DJ not to honor any of her requests. She seems to be a person who will try to have her moment anyway. I agree, Ellen can really cause problems. Although I wouldn't blame you if you decided to cancel her wedding invitation. Good for you for not granting her unrealistic request. What misguided person thinks it's okay to have a surprise mother-son dance at their stepson's wedding? You did absolutely the right thing. You all can't trust Ellen with anything related to the wedding or, frankly, anything else. It's hard to imagine what would have happened if you and Jamie had kids. My next story. Me and 7 of my friends from high school have decided that no matter where we are or how busy we are, we will get together for brunch every year for the rest of our lives. We don't have an exact date, but we usually pick one of the weeks in June or July when the weather is warm. We converge on our hometown to enjoy a bottomless brunch at our favorite establishment. For some of us, this is the only opportunity to see each other during the year. Personally, I live 2,500 miles away and rarely get to see these girls. It was always a joyful time until recently when one of my friends, Rue, started commenting on my diet. I've always been an active person, running for college and now running ultramarathons. Because of this, my diet includes a lot of calories and I stay pretty lean. I mostly eat healthy and balanced meals, but once a year at our favorite restaurant I allow myself to eat anything. I can eat a lot, including cheese platters, pancakes, sausage, and bacon. Rue has always seemed full to me, but I've never paid attention to changes in someone's weight or eating habits. However, she constantly points it out, and I can't help but notice. Rue eats nothing but oatmeal every year and continually gains weight, while enjoying a variety of meals, remain thin. This seems to make her uncomfortable. Rue has started saying that I'm just lucky with my genetics and that I can eat whatever I want. This bothers me because comments like that completely ignore all the work I've been doing to stay healthy. Plus, I feel like Rue is unhappy about her weight, and I feel like comments like this do more harm than good. I did my best to explain that I don't usually eat like this. I also exercise a lot. People shouldn't judge someone's life based on random snapshots. I once suggested to Rue that I add salads before every meal and avoid eating out to help her. This only made her mood worse and seemed to slow her progress. I felt like this would be helpful advice. However, my friends met my words with fury. One of them accused me of being overprivileged and said I didn't realize my advantages. He rebuked me for humiliating Ryu. The others supported him and urged me to get off my high horse. Finally, losing patience, I stated that I just wanted to help, but that only made things worse. Rue remained silent the whole time. I gathered my things, paid my bill, and left feeling devastated. A few days passed and none of my friends were willing to talk to me. I reached out to one of the people close to me in the group. She said that I had really crossed the line and should apologize to everyone, especially Ryu. I only had good intentions. If no one wants to talk to me, maybe I was really wrong. Did I do something so stupid? You absolutely did not make a mistake or say anything wrong. They were discussing weight and calorie intake, making assumptions about genetics without considering all the effort you put in every day to stay in shape. However, you will never win with these people. If your friends don't want to discuss weight, it's best not to bring it up. Giving advice to avoid conflict isn't an exercise in privilege, but the double standard you're being held to is wrong. Rue can say whatever she wants because of her weight, but because you're in good shape, you have to silently tolerate what she says. It's unfair and shouldn't be tolerated. Your friends shouldn't comment on what you eat, period. However, it seems like all of your friends interfere in the conversation, even if Ryu started first. It might be best to cut off communication with them. You shouldn't give advice or try to correct Ryu's habits, especially after her own rude behavior. It didn't improve anything. You also commented on her body and habits uninvited even though she started first. You need to stop commenting on each other's bodies and healthy habits until one of you explicitly asks for advice. A story that really surprised me. My wife and I have been married for 8 years. My childhood was spent in a middle-class family, while her family belongs to the aristocratic category. I don't know the exact amount of their fortune, but it has been passed down from generation to generation. They don't worry about money. Despite this, they don't give us money directly. However, every time our child is born, they set aside $100,000 in an interest-bearing account for his education. They are also generous with expenses during vacations. They took us with them on a trip. We both have good jobs. We are confident that they will help us in case of need. We lead a fairly ordinary lifestyle. In July, we planned a vacation. It was a trip with our kids and her family, including her siblings' immediate families and a few family friends. My mother-in-law and father-in-law paid for everything: airfare, the villa we stayed in, various dinners and activities. This was the 5th such vacation they had involved us in, not counting our honeymoon. I never thought I would be so close to such wealth. They treated me with hospitality and generosity. They even offered me a high-paying job that I probably don't deserve. They offered to pay for my graduate school tuition if I decided to go. Recently, my sister asked me about my summer plans and upcoming trips. I told her about our trip, and she was clearly annoyed and jealous. She asked why I never asked about the possibility of inviting her and her family, considering other family friends are often invited. These trips usually invite 10 to 20 non-family members. I never thought about the possibility of including my family members, so I didn't tell her about it, and she thought I was being selfish. I think it was just jealousy. She complained that she's never been to Europe and thinks it's wasteful to even go on a regional vacation. I feel it has nothing to do with my situation. Although you are married to their daughter, in this situation, you are considered an invitee plus one. This does not give your sister any reason to expect to be included on the guest list. You are part of the family, your sister is not. Inviting her would be inappropriate and greedy. Your sister is wrong. Jealousy can hurt. You're not being foolish. Maybe you should discuss the matter with your spouse. Bring it up as a joke to gauge the reaction. You might get lucky. You mentioned it to your wife. She thought that if they agreed, you would be happy about it. Perhaps she always thought you were trying to keep them at a distance for some reason. Probably should have asked your wife sooner. If you didn't, it was a mistake.